Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. As-salatu was-salamu ala Rasulihil Kareem wa ala alihi wa ashabihi wa man istanna bi sunnatihi ila yawmiddin. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, brothers. So, inshallah ta'ala, we'll continue our journey through the Quran. We finished up to ayah 108, where Allah was talking about the people of the Medina, the Jewish people of the Medina, and also the Christians. And Allah mentioned that what is the desire in their heart. So today the same thing is continuing, and few more comments from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala about their intention and what a Muslim should do in response to their intention. So let's look at the ayah number 109. Sorry, the ayah number 105 is there, but it's 109. I'll change this one. So in ayah number 109, Allah is saying the same thing which relates to the previous ayah, that Allah is saying that this ayah, many of the people of the scripture, the Jewish and the Christians, they wish that they could turn you away from this, away from as a disbeliever. So after you believe, so they wish that after you become a Muslim, they become again like before, like mushrikun, as you say. This is basically for the Ansar and Muhajirun, because obviously this Jewish and the Christian in Medina, they are looking that there's a new leader is among them, a new Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam is among them, and people are following him day after day, night after night. People coming and accepting Islam, and they are growing, and all these things are happening. So obviously they had a jealousy in their heart, and they wish that they could turn. But this wish, they desire, they don't express in front of them. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling the believers through Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam that look, this is what in their mind. So you should be careful about them. But in response, Allah said that pardon and overlook. The Arabic word here is fa'fu or wasfahu. Fa'fu and wasfahu means if you forgive someone with a loving attitude. Like there's one thing called like you have a fight between two brothers, you say, brother, please say sorry to him. So one says sorry, so okay, sorry. So that is you just say sorry because you have to say sorry. But there's something like when your child do something and come to you and cry, say, okay, yes, dad, I did something wrong, crying, small kid, and you forgive with pardon, with love, with a smile in your face. So Allah is saying, do that with them. So this is a very important ayah that Allah is saying that although they have the bad intention, but we should be so nice to them. And these two words again Allah used in another surah. It's called Surah At-Taghabun, in surah number 64, I believe. And in that Allah used these two words when Allah talked about behaving with your wife and children. Allah said that these two words, so if your wife and children are a harm to your path of Islam, like they are causing some type of barrier to go to the jihad or to do something in the fi sabilillah, Allah said yes, just be careful about them, and if you can find them they're doing this, be merciful, be fa'fu and wasfahu, meaning be pardon them and overlook them. So this is the same word Allah used there also. So just I mentioned this one because to understand the importance. Look, the Jewish and the Christian, although they are not from us, from the Muslim people, but still we should be in our best behavior. That's what Allah mentioned here. But again Allah said here that this is what you do until I tell you to do something else. What Allah indicating here that in future maybe they will have more bad plan, and that time I will tell you what to do in point of fighting or jihad or something like that. But at the moment, what you should do, because this is the early stage in Medina, that you should be forgiving them and you should overlook them. The next ayah number 110, Allah is saying, right after this one, Allah is saying, Akimus salah wa atuz zakah. This command you all know that this is so many times in the Quran. Allah said, establish the prayer and zakah. But what is the point just after this ayah where Allah is saying that Jewish Christian and jealousy about you in your heart, and after that you should be forgiveful and pardon them and overlook them? Then Allah said about the Aqimus Salah. What is the relation? The relation is saying Allah is saying don't worry about what inside their mind. You put attention to your goal. Your main goal is to Aqimus Salah wa atuz zakah and waqaddimu, meaning to do good deeds. The first two good deeds is salah and zakah, obviously, and then Allah said, send something good to me, meaning do any righteous deeds, sadaqah, or attending something, or learning something, learning Quran or something, whatever you can do it. Focus on yourself. Don't worry about their heart. And Allah is saying here at the end the quality that Allah said, Allah is seeing, overlooking everything. So Allah knows what you are doing. So sometimes it is also similar to our situation that sometimes we think a lot about the people around us. what they are doing, what they are planning, the media says this and this and that. Okay, these are important, but sometimes we just talk about it. We have no capability to do something against them. Instead, we should focus on ourselves, our family, that, are we establishing the prayer? Are we doing the, right thing that we're supposed to do? Or we are just talking to just in the gathering to be, the attention seeker or something like this. So this is what Allah mentioned here, and that's why this ayah just comes after that ayah, that, whatever they're doing, I know what they're doing, and I'm going to tell you what to do against them. But you focus on your thing, you keep praying, you do zakah, you do good deeds, and I just make sure that you know that I am watching you. The next ayah number 111, where Allah is saying another thing that is still the same thing about the Jewish and Christian. So they are saying that, if you are a Muslim, if you are not a Christian or not a Jewish, you will never go to paradise. That's their saying. And even if you go to, obviously, if you go to a rabbi now and you say, okay, I'm a Muslim, am I going to, paradise according to you? They will say, no, maybe not, because, this is what they are saying. If you go to a Christian pastor or a Catholic father or whatever, they will say the same thing. And that's the same time. But Allah is saying, and this is actually two people are saying two things. So Jewish are saying, if you are not Jewish, you are not going to paradise. Christian is saying, if you are not Christian, you are not going to the paradise. And you will see the next ayah that they also have difference between themselves. In the ayah number that we'll do inshallah tomorrow next week, where Jewish will say that Christian has no basis. The Christian will say Jewish has nothing, no basis. So they also have rivalry between both of them, and both of them are saying that you Muslim will never go to paradise. But then Allah is saying this is their wishful thinking. If they are truthful, tell them to bring some proof from their books. Does their book say that if you are a Muslim you cannot go to paradise? Does it say in their book? No, it doesn't say that. Rather it says that that every prophet before that, every Rasul before that, it was a Muslim, of course. They are praising the same da'wah as Rasulullah is doing. So this is what mentioned here. And the last ayah for today, the ayah number 12, Allah is saying that rather people who submit themselves. The word is face. It says that Balaman Aslama. Aslama means Islam. It's come from Islam, meaning submit yourself. Wajhilillah. Wajhilillah meaning submit his face. Why Allah used the word face? Wajhi means face, because face is the sign of your pride and arrogance. In our country, in subcontinent, if someone do something bad, we say put something in the face. The face is blackened. Even Allah used the same thing in the day of in the Yamul Qiyamah. People who are bad people, people who are sinner, their face will be darkened, blackish. Why the face? Because face is the sign of your pride and arrogance. So Allah is saying, whoever submit his face, submit his arrogance and everything to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then Allah and he is the muhsin. Muhsin is not Muslim. Muhsin is the highest level. Muslim is we are all Muslim. From Muslim, next level is mu'min. When you excel yourself, muhsin is the person who always concerned about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He thinks that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is watching him all the time. What he does, he thinks that this has been watched by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in a continuous form. So he is a Muslim, and then he said Allah has a reward for him, and on such will be no fear and no grief. No fear and no grief, if you remember, we talked about these two qualities for a long time. No fear means muttaqin, and no grief, no sadness in your heart means muflihin. Why? When you have no fear, meaning you are protected. If a guy is protected, you have no fear. So the protected means muttaqin. And when you feel happy, when you are not sad, when you have successful, you don't feel sadness. When you are successful, you feel happy. So these two qualities always Allah brings in, especially in Surah Al-Baqarah, because this is the two things Allah talked about the very first 5 ayah, Hudal lil muttaqin. So ahumul muflihun. So muttaqin and muflihun always comes here. And another thing to understand here, if you look at the Arabic, falahu ajruhu. Falahu ajruhu means he has reward. He has reward with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then Allah said, wala khawfun alayhim. Him means them. So Allah was talking to third person singular, he. Right away Allah went to third person plural, from he to them. Why? This is not the way to language. Like if I'm talking there, he is a nice guy and he will have great reward. I don't say he is a nice guy and they will have no reward. It's like changing of and Quran has these things a lot of time. You know why? Falahu ajruhu means that he will have reward in this world. So your efforts for the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by yourself. you are praying here, you are doing siyam, you are doing zakah, you are doing good things, you are learning Quran or whatever by yourself. But the group of people, the muttaqins and muflihun, will be going to the Jannah. They will be all together. So now one person become a group of people. So Allah is saying, this person will have reward with me, and when he will come with me in a group of muttaqin and muflihun, they will have no fear and no grief in their heart. This is why the person changed. And you will find this in the Quran in different places. Inshallah ta'ala, if Allah gives us tawfiq, we'll point out those things. So jazakumullahu khair. Subhanakallahumma bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.